What's going on, everyone? It is Eway here, and right off the bat, you're seeing a new background. So, let me know what you think of the new background, by the way. Move my room around finally. Let me know what you think of that. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and go in a quick intro here, and thank you all for the support on the recent Together video. Like, the video's got almost 200 views. Like, thank you. Let's keep running that video up. Drop some likes on it because the like ratio. We need more likes, so drop that like on that video. Watch this one first before you go watch that one, but I'll definitely have it up on the end screen at the end of this video, so go watch that, but watch this first, definitely, because you don't want to miss this video. We have Sam and Dean Winchester, 5 vampires and 5 werewolves from other TV series and movies, but seasons 1 and 2, Sam and Dean, to make it a little bit different than what most people would typically do for video. Let's experience Sam and Dean and see how they can fare. They still fare pretty well, but this is a fun video to make, and yeah, it was enough of the yap, man. Let's get into it. First off, we are ranking is Deucalion from Teen Wolf, and right away we put him in kills Sam and Dean, and here is why. Deucalion from Teen Wolf is known as the Demon Wolf, the boogeyman that people and other wolves should fear. And yes, even other wolves see, because Deucalion, instead of forming packs to get stronger, which is lore within the Teen Wolf universe, an alpha runs a pack of beta wolves, and wolves within these packs are considerably stronger, and that includes the alpha. The betas make the alpha stronger, basically. That's how it works. Instead, though, Deucalion killed all of his pack mates, including the alpha, to become one himself. In lore, if you kill the alpha, you become one, and that would also mean that he gains strength from killing off the other betas as well. Pretty messed up, honestly. So yeah, Deucalion, ruthless dude. And he runs a pack of other alphas. So not only that, he's a leader of other alphas, and the alphas are stronger than betas. So yeah, you can see how his power level is kind of scaling here. The dude is kind of broken. On the catch though, Deucalion is blind when not within wolf form, which I guess you can argue gives the brothers an advantage, but with his other senses extremely enhanced, like you're not catching this dude lacking at all, it is highly unlikely they'd be able to sneak up on him. And as a leader of the alpha pack and the strength from everything else I've mentioned, makes dude ruthless and cold-hearted. And within Demon Wolf form, the chance the boys might have had is pretty much over. Deucalion is stronger than any other wolf seen on Supernatural and a lot of other shows, to be honest, and the boys probably wouldn't know how to handle him. As always, if they had prep time, they could potentially win or find out his Wolfbane's weakness. But I don't even know if anything in lore, minus the Wolfsbane, if they find out, could even do anything to this guy, minus the cult. But, we're not going to be giving him the cult. The cult's the most broken OP thing on TV. And it kills everything, literally everything, except minus a few, if you know, you know. So yeah, we can't do that. We can't give them the cult. So yeah, I just don't see Sam and Dean having any chance here at all. I don't think silver bullets are doing anything to Deucalion. And even if, like I said, even if they know about the Wolf's main weakness, or even if they get shots off, Deucalion is just way too fast for him to comprehend and to be able to stand at the time. And he's smart. Dude's not going to let them fight together. He's going to split them off, take them out one by one. So yeah. They just haven't faced anything grand on this scale yet. Yeah, I think Deucalion, I think he gets the upper hand here. Now, you might can argue, yeah, they killed Azazel, but they also used the cult, guys. You gotta understand, they used the cult. They don't have the cult here. So with that alone, I don't think there's literally anything they could do. We're not giving them the cult, so yeah, I think Deucalion kills Sam and Dean here. But it's not going to be that easy on the rest of this list for any of the other monsters, that is for sure. Next on the list, we have Bishop from Being Human, also played by Mark Pellegrino, who plays Lucy on Supernatural. At first, I had thought this would be a major setback for the boys and even potentially cause them to lose this fight. But at this point, they have never met Lucifer or even know he exists, so it wouldn't make a difference either way, honestly. Because if they hadn't met him, seeing that same face again would honestly catch them off guard. But in this circumstance, it wouldn't. Now, for Bishop, he was the main leader of the vampires in Boston, where the show takes place, and the person responsible for changing Aiden, one of the show's main characters, played by Sam Witwer, into a vampire back during the Revolutionary War. So, off bat, Bishop is hundreds of years old and does have tons of extensive knowledge. And while, yes, from what we have seen from this universe, these vampires are way better than supernatural vampires, except, well, obviously the Alpha. I don't think there's a contender there. Bishop usually has his crew do the dirty work, like sending out Aiden or Marcus later. Bishop, although is hella formidable on his own, he's lasted against Aiden, he's lasted in one-on-one fights, but his main reason for staying alive this long is the fear he sends off. People are afraid of Bishop, afraid of what he might do, his ruthlessness, he's afraid to kill no one. So that's the main reason that Bishop is alive for so long, because he has so much protection behind him. Once again, formidable fighter, scary on his own, but 2-on-1 against Sam and Dean, I don't know if there's much he could do. Another reason, too, is because of his age. Now, lore on the Being Human universe is the older the vampires, the stronger they are. And considering he's one of the oldest, would also a reason why he's in control of Boston for that time. But with all that, I don't believe Bishop is winning this at all. I think it's just kind of easy for the boys here. Like, these vampires could be staked, decapitated. They even have a garlic weakness somewhat, which I guess is a bit different than the ones off of Supernatural. But they also don't have a sunlight weakness. At least Bishop doesn't, because he's been around for so long, so he can be out in the sunlight. I guess that's an advantage. He might be faster and stronger, but I don't think he leaves a scratch at all. And like, if he had his support, if he had his crew with him, the whole vampire order, he might survive this, or potentially like win. But without them, yeah, honestly, low dish. I don't think he has a chance at all. So yeah, Bishop decapitated. Next up on the list, we have one of the newer introductions to the Marvel big screen in recent years, the Werewolf by Night. And keep in mind, we're only strictly doing movie and show lore. No other outside sources like the comics. And even though we did not see much within this short film in terms of feats, Jack is seriously strong. And right away, immediately gets the 50-50 spot on the tier list. Now here's why. With this film being a short film, we did not get much exposition as to why Jack he has these powers. Once again, ignoring comic lore, we have no reasons to why. All we know is that he is cursed. It does what he can to keep the monster from coming out, okay? He was invited to this house by the Bloodstones to partake in a maze or Hunger Games style test against others to claim the precious Bloodstones. And while for a lot of the runtime we did not see him actually in the wolf form, we did get to see how smart he is and how genuinely likable and innocent he seems as a person. Well, this is usually something Sam and Dean would align with. If Jack were to transform, all bets are off. He tears everyone limb from limb, destroys and brings them down. See, the wolf basically has a mind of its own, and Jack cannot control it, at least from what we've seen. No clue if we're even going to see anymore, if this character's even coming back or not, but yeah, Jack sold at least 10 or more guys on his own, and even while they were actively gunning this man down, shooting him with guns. So yeah, the only reason Jack is even in 50-50 and not just straight killing Sam and Dean is because of the good side of him, which also is the reason that another character on this list gets this spot. But yeah, maybe the brothers can calm him down, or just simply choose not to fight him. But if they do go through with a fight, I believe Jack wins. Once again, same with Deucalion. There's just nothing they have in their arsenal at this point in time that can bring him down. And I don't even know if potential weaknesses, like I said, there's not enough shown in the film, so yeah, I can see it going either way. Honestly, I'm more leaning on the fact that the brothers can probably talk some sense into Jack, get on his good side, or the human side, at least. But if they provoke him too quickly, or startle the wolf in any way, meaning like if they don't I don't know. It can go either way, I see, with this one. But yeah, like I said, more leaning on the fact that Sam and Dean could probably get him to calm down. So let me know down in the comments what you think of this one. But yeah, 50-50 here. If you've seen Werewolf by Night, or just know. Yeah, this is what I'm leaning on, though. Next up on this list, and we're skipping Josh right now. We will come back to him. Next up, though, we have The Angel from Midnight Mass, an incredible miniseries on Netflix created by Mike Flanagan. And while he's literally viewed as and called an angel on the series, that is used as a deceit device for the vampire to influence the island. As this island is very small, and religion, specifically the Catholic Church, has a lot of influence and authority later on. If you come to watch the series, the angel uses this to his advantage to yet turn others on the island into vampires to further do his bidding. With the angel's ultimate goal to bring everyone to the mainland to, create more vampires, basically. So it would seem in the grand scale that the angel is contender for being high on this list. However, this would ultimately fall flat immediately, as Sam and Dean would already know what's at stake beforehand. And even if not, they figured this out pretty quickly. But yeah, you can argue the angel deceived hundreds of people on this island, right? But you gotta think, these people were not raised on main society. And keep in mind, the angel also came from Jerusalem and lived in a cave, so he also didn't have a lot of society too, so keep that in mind as well. So yeah, it's how the angel was able to do any of this. And of course, they manipulated the Monsignor, who everybody on the island loves, treats this guy as basically the authority. So that was another thing that was able to help. But yeah, while the angel can fly, I mean, his wings are kind of used. He literally got shredded with a basic knife right here. He didn't even know what was going on too, by the way. So I would assume bullets could easily bring him down if he was to fly away. And if anything, they can hold out till sunrise and he's smoked. And while, yeah, he can fly, and I am putting him over Bishop because of this, I don't really see it doing a whole lot. It's still a better feat than not being able to fly. But yeah, no, I think he gets decapitated pretty quickly here. Up next, and I don't even really need to say much. It's just bottom of the list, and that's Jerry Dandridge from Fright Night. I mean, classic film. I love it. Who doesn't love Fright Night, right? But dude's a joke. I mean, he got killed by a bunch of preteens and teenagers and shit. So, and he has the typical afraid of sunlight, garlic, and all that tropes. Honestly, Jerry's the B-roll footage used as the intro in some of the episodes. When they montage kills at the beginning, they immediately would be able to spot him out. As bro didn't even hide himself at all, and like I said, he got noticed by literal children. So. Yeah, Cannon Potter. Jerry doesn't win a lot of these lists, to be honest. Not much there to talk about. Yeah, Jerry Dandridge is literally the intro kill. So, yeah, moving on. Up next, we actually have more of a challenge for Sam and Dean. At least compared to Jerry Dandridge. I mean, the Muppets are more of a challenge than Jerry. Let's be honest. And this is Edward Cullen from Twilight. Now, with Edward, I really did have to think of this one for a while. And this might be controversial, maybe not. But Edward is going into the hit a few licks tier. Now, hear me out. Obviously, Edward Cullen, with experience from every film, probably kills the Winchesters with seasons 1 and 2 experience, probably with no issues. The problem here is fairness, which I have kept in mind for this entire list, or at least try to. Not giving the brothers the coal, when in season 2 they clearly had it, it was in their arsenal. Every other monster on this list were movie characters from one-off films or shorter series, not an entire 5-movie trilogy. So we're only going to be talking about Edward from the first film, to, keep it fair with everyone else. And honestly, he didn't show too many considerable feats or too many fighting skills. However, he still is incredibly fast and basically immune from the sun. I had to bring up that shit. They may be physically superior, at least to a smaller margin. But one-on-one with the Winchesters, I mean, Edward is just kind of cooked. I mean, he doesn't have the support of his family, which is where Edward really shines. Being later on in the films, he's basically always out, handling issues with the family. So, not saying he couldn't do it on his own. Definitely in the later films, with all of his experience, his strength, and, his training, they would probably investigate the high school or town after hearing about animal-style maulings and killings and potential sightings. And yes, I know that Edward is not technically going to be the one killing people. That would be the wolves, or at least some of the wolves. In seasons 1 and 2, Sam and Dean are relatively young. They could easily get inside the high school, snoop around, gain trust from the students there to find knowledge on what's going on. And to be honest, I feel if they just laid eye contact on Edward, they would just know immediately. I mean, dude's extremely pale and cold to the touch. If they were just touch his skin in some way, they're going to try to scope it out, figure it out, of course. Like I said, the Winchesters are going to do their research. They're not just going to go in blind. But with the firepower and the research the Winchesters are going to go in beforehand, I don't really think Edward does a lot here. Like I said, in the later films, sure, but with his lack of experience here, 2-on-1, I just maybe you could argue getting them alone, but I don't even know if then it really does anything. I think that's where it's gonna have to be. Since we just finished up with Edward, we might as well move on over to Jacob as well. With Jacob, I'm also going to put him and hit a few licks, but over Edward. At first, it was the opposite, but honestly, I believe Jacob is a lot stronger than Edward during the first film, and my main reasons for seeing this is because Jacob was pretty much raised to give in to the wolf, to let it roam free, He's already used to his beast side, whereas Edward was always just hiding and used his family's influence to essentially work in plain sight. He's never really had to, fight per se, to survive. And really, that's the sole reason, and also because of the sheer size of the wolves in this universe and the full transformation might throw the brothers off guard, at first. But still, at the end of the day, I have the Winchesters winning this, and I'll say it's damn near close to 50-50, now that they think about it. But also, Jacob outside of a pack is not as effective. We've mostly seen these films. These wolves really do work better in packs, they kind of have to. They honestly don't stand much of a chance. And honestly, more scary than the vampires when they are in a big pack. But with them alone, I don't really see Jacob having much of a chance here. I do have him over Edward. I know. I keep passing up on Josh, but we will get to him in a sec, I promise. I want to rank our last vampire on the list first. Morbius. Now, with Morbius, may come as a shock and surprise, maybe not. But I have Morbius killing the Winchesters here. Say what you want about the film, trust me, there's a lot to complain about. I know. But they did somewhat show some feats that I just don't think the brothers can handle this early on. His speed is insane, way faster than every other vamp on the list, and Morbius can also fly as well, and albeit way more effective than Angel. Bullets are going to do anything to him, and his hearing and sonar is literally off the chain. It's just too broken and overpowered. Honestly, it's possible Morbius even spots them before they can even find them. No doubt they will easily find out what's going on. Morbius isn't necessarily hiding what he's doing from anyone, as his company is actively working with bats and on them. If they could somewhat get up on Morbius, maybe they can do a sneak attack or something. But also, like mentioned, I don't think any of their current weapons are doing anything to him. So yeah, Morbius wins this, and honestly, probably over Deucalion. I don't think the boys have a chance at all, at least with Deucalion. They, I guess, somewhat have one. With Morbius, it's just not. I don't see them doing anything. Now, we finally have Josh, and I've been skimming over Josh for a good reason, as he's the only one upon this list that, he may be 50-50, but for the same reasons as Werewolf by Night, and that Josh 90% of the time is human and only transforms once a month. However, this does change later, and Hez is considered the only wolf from that universe who can change at will, because it's big within this lore on being human that They have to wait once a month. Even the purebreds cannot change at will. Josh is the only one to do this. So here's the problem here. While wolfed out, I believe Josh kills Sam and Dean, no doubt, 100% in most scenarios. But only if Josh doesn't have control of his emotions. And for this series, we can do all 5 seasons, since it's a relatively shorter series. And yes, you can bring up the whole fairness factor I've been doing throughout the video. But there's nothing within being human that's even close to the scale the brothers deal with. There's no cosmic level threats. And well, yeah, you could say that for a lot of the other series and shows as well. The power scaling is just completely different than that of being human. And Josh, really, all it is he has more control over his wolf in later seasons. That's it. That's the only reason he gets 50-50. Josh is not a very trusting person, and if you have watched the series, it's mostly for good reason. And Josh actively hates the wolf for most of the show's runtime, so he would never do something out of the way for anyone to catch him, or to know that he's a wolf. But for the same reasons I gave Ed and Jacob, I could kind of see that happening here. And to confirm any possible suspicions at all, the boys would definitely wait on the lunar cycle of the moon and to try to catch Josh in the act of transforming. And the same with Werewolf by Night, though. If you startle the wolf, or Josh is not on full control, it's just over for him. Like, I don't really think they could do anything. The wolves on being human are usually not a joke to be messing with, as you can see Aiden at times. One of the main characters of the show, being a vampire, even he is scared of Josh when he's transformed. And the vampires usually laugh at the werewolves on being human. You know, they don't really treat them as a threat, when that's not really the case a lot of the times. And I haven't really talked about the use of silver bullets, but it's just not really stated if they had silver bullets in season 2. Like, yeah, they know about wolves, and you know the brothers are always prepared, but it just wasn't stated. So yeah, I'm assuming if they use silver bullets, they can use them. Same with every other monster on this list. I just don't think they would actually need the silver bullets against anyone else, except potentially Josh, because they're just way too strong opponents together for pretty much anyone else on this list. I just don't think it's enough. So yeah, Josh is definitely 50-50, and honestly see him teetering closer to the kill Sam and Dean side. But although there is highly likely chance they can just talk him out of it, and nobody fights, nobody dies, just win-win, you know? So, alright, now for the final 2 on the list, and definitely not the least, we have Aiden and Ethan from Teen Wolf, who also at one point was part of Deucalion's Alpha Pack, so keep that in mind. Yeah, these guys are kind of no joke, and we are only talking about the alpha versions of the twins here, not them in beta form, which comes later, as their first introductions was as alphas, and scary ones at that. We can take all the existing scenarios of how they found out about the monsters and apply it here also for the twins, and we can just get straight into the fight, alright? We're gonna find them, Aiden and Ethan, in some way, so we can just skip all of that, right? And honestly, this is a tough one, but I have Aiden and Ethan killing Sam and Dean. I know it doesn't reflect that in the tier list footage, as this is honestly a last minute decision when finishing off the script. And really the main sole reason is their combined huge, big, giant wolf form. Like mentioned, silver bullets are effective in this universe. However, it merely is a slow poison, not necessarily an insta-kill. And especially not when they're in this form. Now, if we get the twins separated with a fair, 2v2 fight, however, then it could be a different story. The alphas in Teen Wolf are no joke, but Sam and Dean's fighting skills, I would argue, are better. So in that scenario, it's potential that Sam and Dean could win. But honestly, still close regardless. And to be honest, like mentioned, I think they still win. They just have a higher chance of losing when not combined. Although it's still a small one. Like, these guys are strong, no joke. Like, yeah, their fighting skills might not be up to his par, but their strength level is just insane. Kind of maybe too much. But yeah, let me know. This is the list. Let me know what you all think. And obviously, they go behind Deucalion on the list. He was their leader and just miles stronger. So, makes sense. They can't be going higher up on the list than him. I've enjoyed making this video. Get at me in the comments and let me know what you thought. Close to 400 subscribers. Well, let's get me there soon. I never do a like goal, but let's get like 10 likes on the video. Cause so I know people want more of these. I like doing the film reviews and just film and series related stuff in general. I want to keep doing it. And so yeah, thank you all. Have a good one and peace out.